Hey guys, this is Josh here with Trillium Wild Edibles, and today I want to shoot a video for you guys about foraging wild edibles for resources. Now the plant that you're looking at is called Canadian wood nettle. And you can see the top of this flower cluster that's left here. And this is the perfect time of year for you to be going out and looking for nettles, whether it's stinging nettle or wood nettle, to gather or forage for making cordage. And that's one of the many resources of this plant that you can use it for, is you can use this plant to make cordage or rope. You can even use it to make sewing thread in a very, very, very quick process. Now, nettle cordage has been used all around the world for thousands of years, and even Ötzi the iceman, the famous iceman that was discovered in the Alps, had nettle cordage on his person, and some of his effects or personal effects were wrapped up or secured with nettle cordage. Now, gathering a nettle for cordage is extremely easy. The very first thing that you've got to do is you got to pull the plant up and then simply just break it off at the root. Now those strings, those fibers, now you're going to see these strings and these fibers here that are going to hold on to the interior pith. And that's okay. Just continue to twist it like this and it will eventually break, just like that. Alright, once you have your nettle picked, the next thing that you need to do is you just need to go ahead and pluck these leaves off. Be kind of careful doing this because these do sting. And now the top portion of this plant from this node up we're going to discard because it's not very good for cordage. And you can see what I mean by it just broke very clean. Alright, now the next step that we need to do is we need to remove these stinging or urticating hairs off of the stem of the nettle. And you can do that very simply just by grabbing the stem at the top and then going down the stem just like that with bare fingers. You don't need gloves for this. But here you may be able to see how we have all of these stinging or urticating hairs now removed. Now the next thing that you want to do is you can see these little bitty nubs that may be from the leaf nodes. Just take your fingernail and rub those across, and they'll come right off. Just simply like that. Now break the stem in the center. And what that's going to do is it's going to expose the pith of the inside of the stem. And that's really what we're after here. So now that we've got the pith separated from the outer fibers, we just simply need to shuck this off just like it's a sock. And this will peel off the majority of the fibers on the outside of the stem. Now to make sure we got it, we just go to the other side. Same thing. We take the other half of the stem, and it simply pulls off just like that. Let me flip that stem around, do the same thing on the other side. And now this is what we have left. We have the outer strings off of the nettle stem. Now to simply make cordage out of this, all we have to do is just split this down. So all you simply do is just grab an edge. So all you do is simply just grab an edge like that, pinch it between your fingernails, and then you pull apart and you can see it'll split apart just like that. And you can split this down into very, very fine fibers like you can see here. So this is like perfect for making sewing thread really fast. It only takes just a couple of minutes and you can have yourself some really nice sewing thread. Or you can continue to split this down and make rope or cordage. Maybe you need to tie a shelter together. Maybe you need something to sew up a piece of your clothing that maybe got a hole in it. And once you get them all split, get off me, bug. Alright, and then once you have all of your nettle fibers split down, you just want to go ahead and line them up kind of nice and neat. Just kind of get them parallel to each other. For very quick, simple cordage, it doesn't really matter if you have all of the ends even or not, because whenever you twist it in together, it's going to knot upon itself and hold itself together anyways. Alright, now the next thing that you want to do after you have all of your fibers laid out nice and parallel, you just simply want to lay them across your leg like this. Take your hand and then twist it just like that. Now you can see some of these little guys here trying to dangle out. That's okay. They'll twist in. Just continue to twist. Now whenever you get down to these very small sections, I sometimes find it helps to use my clothing. Helps to give me a little bit more traction. Alright, then once you have your nettle fibers twisted together with one good twist, you simply just fold it in half. And you do that and you're going to see it twist. It's going to want to twist on you naturally. And then all we got to do is just encourage that twist. There you may be able to see the direction that this is twisting, and all we want to do is we just want to encourage that twist. We're going to be going the reverse direction that we did the first time. And this is why it's called a reverse wrap method. You can see what we have here, this approximately 1 foot long piece of nettle cordage. And this was gathered off of a nettle that was about 2.5 feet tall. So however tall the nettle is, you're probably going to get about half of that for cordage by the time you're done using this method. Another really nice thing about nettle fibers is that they can be used green like they are now, just like you see here, or you can go ahead and dry these out. Now whenever you dry it out, this is going to shrink a lot, a whole lot. This piece here will probably be about the size of, probably about bank line by the time it's said and done, and by the time that it's dried. However, making a really nice, strong piece of cordage only takes about 10 minutes. I've been recording non-stop here, and the clock on my camcorder says 13 minutes and 25 seconds. So it took me maybe 5 minutes to do this. It doesn't take very long, and this is something that any of you guys can do in a survival situation, and this is one of the many great resources that wild edibles can have within them. Now of course you see this little bitty end here. Now if you want to clean this up a little bit, so if we wanted to clean this little bitty end up, we just roll it down our leg like we did before, and then simply fold it in half, and then twist back the opposite direction. And then there you can see that nice cleaned end now, so it doesn't look so bad. So that's one of the ways that you guys can clean up the ends on your nettle cordage. Now to give you guys an example of how strong this is, I cannot break this. This stuff will work very well as it is right now for holding a shelter together very quickly. So there's a lot of things that you can do with this. You can make bowstring with this, you can tie a shelter together, you can tie a shoe, you can make sewing thread, you can tie on a bandage or a leaf to use as a bandage. You can use this to hang up herbs in a longer term situation, to dry those herbs for food or medicine or maybe tea. There are a lot of resources that you can use this stuff for in a survival situation. And this is just one of the many wild edibles that has a great use as a resource in a survival situation. So I thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. If you want to learn more about edible or medicinal plants, make sure to subscribe.